It's the Prep Zone Holiday Special. Here's your host, Chris Egan.
Good evening and welcome to our 6th annual Prep Zone Holiday Special. We've picked out 7 of our favorite stories we did in 2022, looking at some special student athletes. Rainier High School was founded in 1909 but had never won a state sports team title. The track team in Rainier, a town of just 3,000 residents, hope to end that 113-year drought. As the state track and field championships got underway in May, we featured the team's top athlete.
My name is Jeremiah Nubby. I am 18 years old and I go to Rainier High School.
Jeremiah throws the hammer, shot, and javelin, but his best event is the discus.
Discus was my first track and field main event that I really enjoyed.
He started throwing in the 7th grade. As a 9th grader, he won a state title. 2 weeks into his sophomore season, COVID shut down high school sports, but that didn't slow down Jeremiah.
COVID just impacted kids in so many ways, and he just made turned it into a positive. He's able to focus a lot more on improving his physical skill set and really honing his craft in the discus.
Jeremiah gained weight and muscle, worked daily on his technique, and then in 2021, he threw a personal best, won a national title, and was also the Gatorade Track and Field Athlete of the Year.
You don't necessarily have to be the strongest guy to throw the farthest. It's speed, you have to be as fast as you can, but you have to be strong enough to where that speed doesn't tear you apart.
Jeremiah was recruited by Stanford, but committed to the University of Texas. Last month, he made history, throwing the discus 207 feet and 4 inches.
We knew it was close. I always bring a metal tape just to make sure that it's an accurate distance.
It broke a state record that had stood since 1997.
The work that I put in, the time, sacrifice, whatever that may be, giving up time with friends, family even in some cases, to train and wake up early in those mornings on Sundays rather than sleeping in, it makes it worth it and kind of validates the time that I put in.
When Jeremiah's not out here throwing the discus, there's a good chance you'll find him in the school's metal shop.
It's nice because you don't have to, from going from sports where you're taxing your body, it's nice to just do something a little bit more simple and easy, and not necessarily easy, it's still challenging.
Jeremiah has become a master craftsman and has even won 3 state titles in metal fabrication.
It's all part of engineering, I think. You have to be able to design and build and know the difference between the two.
You don't have to be an engineer to know that the fence line at Rainier Practice Field is a long ways away from the discus ring, 200 feet to be exact. Jeremiah has only cleared it twice, but on this day, he cleared it with ease. It's a throw that would have topped his own state record. Turns out the boys track team won that state team title, and then the town held a parade for them. As for Jeremiah, he won the state titles in the discus and the shot. The state wrestling championships returned to the Tacoma Dome in February. It was then we featured a White River wrestler who's not only the best in the state in her weight class, but she's also the best in the nation. Before White River Junior Shelby Moore goes for a pin, she needs a PB&J.
I always say I'm not superstitious, but I'm a little stitious. So after weigh-ins, I have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich every time.
She makes peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. She eats peanut butter on a spoon. There must be some secret to it.
Over the past 3 months, she made 31 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and was a perfect 31-0 with 31 pins. But the secret's not in the jelly or the jam. Shelby is good because she works hard, and she had some inspiration growing up.
They are best friends. I don't know too many kids like them. And as their mom, it's so incredible to see them have the relationship that they have.
Shelby's big brother Nate won 3 state titles for White River and now wrestles at Northern Colorado.
I've watched him wrestle since the day I was born, so it's been a long time, but I really admire just how he's so confident. He thinks he can beat anyone in the world, and I think that's what makes him really good, is he just believes in himself like crazy.
Nathan put a really high bar for his sister to be able to compete and try to win a state championship and follow his footsteps.
I try and imitate his confidence on the mat.
The confidence paid off at the Mat Classic as Shelby went 4-0 in the 130-pound weight division and brought home her first state title.
It's just the coolest thing. And so for her to be able to replicate something that her brother did it was really awesome for sure.
It's hard to explain how much pride you have when your kids win a state championship.
But a quick glance at Shelby's room will show you she's won more than just a state title. In 2021, during a 3.5-month span, Shelby racked up 5 national championships.
It's definitely a big realization moment when you're just like, wow, I'm the best in the nation. Like, how did this happen so quickly?
And Shelby doesn't want to stop there.
I'm hoping to make a world team this year in May and hopefully go to the World Championships in Rome.
Don't forget to pack the PB&J, and don't count out Shelby for making an Olympic team one day, too. Shelby did make the national team in May, where she won the junior girls national title at 127 pounds. She lost in the quarterfinals of the World Championships in Rome. She is committed to wrestle at McKendree University, and she's currently living in Colorado. Shelby was asked to train full-time at the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs with Team USA Wrestling. Meantime, in 2017, we featured Emma Bruntel from Mount Baker High. In January, Emma was the USA Wrestling Athlete of the Week. She also won a gold medal at a major international tournament. The Highline football team is finally enjoying success after some tough years. They were undefeated in district play last year and entered this year's state playoffs with a 9-1 record. This comes after winning just 8 district games in 9 seasons. The turnaround is thanks to a former Washington Husky. Jake Garcia has the story.
Pizza? There you go.
Highline High has been craving something like this.
There you go.
Famished for a few more wins, both on the field and off.
There you go. You're welcome.
This feast shows the pickings are good.
That's the one, huh?
But it wasn't always this way.
Yeah.
This feast is thanks to Coach Cooper.
We'll see, huh?
Someone who knows the feeling of being hungry for change. Deontay Cooper was a former UW standout, or at least should have been. He came in as a 4-star running back, but spent more time running from injury than running the football.
It felt like Groundhog's Day, right? Tearing your ACL in the left knee the first year, and then tearing again the second year, and then tearing your other leg the third year.
3 torn ACLs before playing 1 college snap.
I've been playing football since I was 8 years old and never been hurt before until I got to college.
It was a college career that ended up lasting 7 years. A playing career that ended with an NFL tryout, but nothing more. And a football career Coop was prepared to leave.
It's so funny that I ran from it. I ran from it at first, right? Because of that experience. Like, oh man, I was poured so much into this and I didn't get the end result that I wanted.
But he wanted closure even more, so he turned to coaching.
Despite the cruelties and the experiences that I went through in my college career, I just knew there was more for me to give the game. Let's be a head coach. Let's go try and lead a program, and let's go try and inject some of my learnings into kids and coaches and teachers.
Coach Coop got his start as an assistant at Bellevue, then his first head coaching job in 2019.
Here we go.
Highline High, where the football program had hit its low.
There was no expectation, right? There was no standard. There was no belief. Historically, it struggled academically. The kids struggled athletically. How can I implement some things and change this culture?
In 3.5 years, Coach Coop has done more than change the culture.
We gotta go.
He's changed the future. A winning season and a district title for the first time in a long time.
There's been a lot of people talking about something happened in 1950.
The wins on the field leading to wins with student retention.
Coming into Highline, I've heard a lot of outside noise from people like, oh, you shouldn't go to that school, you should go to this school because you'll have a better chance of getting recruited out of that school. All the stuff that's been said because of Highline's history.
Which is why the present tastes so good. A feast with families the night before game day.
We break bread together.
A feast that's helping heal the scars of the past.
Just as much as I'm pouring into them, they're pouring into me.
And quenching the hunger of a school.
All right, Lord, see you tomorrow.
And a coach.
It's all purple tomorrow. Wear your purple.
The Pirates ended the season with a 10-2 record after falling to Linden in the state quarterfinals. Up next, Evan Ott, the Mercer Island double athlete who did something we've never seen before. Then we'll check in with the Ball sisters, the twin leapers from Capitol who are vaulting up the ranks. And a special dedication to a lost friend. Peninsula quarterback Peyton Knowles honors his best friend. That is next on the Prep Zone Holiday Special. In the spring, we featured Bainbridge pitcher J.R. Ritchie, one of the top prep pitchers in the nation. A fastball hitting 98 miles per hour to go along with a great slider and changeup. He was destined for UCLA until the Braves came calling. Richie was selected by Atlanta with the 35th pick in the Major League Draft. In the spring, Mercer Island won state titles in boys soccer, baseball, girls lacrosse, girls tennis, and boys golf. They also had one athlete do something we've never seen done before.
Mercer Island junior Evan Ott has a sweet swing, but he hasn't been playing golf for long. During the pandemic, he learned how to play.
2 years ago, May 6th, I picked up a golf club for the first time because we couldn't play any other sports, we couldn't play baseball, and the only thing that was open was golf, and I'm like, I just fell in love with golf right away.
This fall, Evan made the varsity team.
I shot a 78 in districts and 77 in Kinko, and we ended up winning districts in Kinko.
The Islanders qualified for state, but had to wait until May for the tournament. For multi-sport athletes, that can be a challenge.
That players oftentimes get stuck in the mix where they play a spring sport and then all of a sudden they're having to balance the time, and it becomes very difficult for those kids.
Evan was one of those kids. When he's not putting, he's pitching.
He does a very good job of throwing strikes and keeping hitters off balance.
Evan is one of Mercer Island's top pitchers, but before the Islanders played in the state semis, Evan had to compete in the state golf tournament.
So I had to just forget about baseball for a week and just focus on golf. And all my focus was on golf the last week, and I practiced Saturday night pretty late so I could get on the bus Sunday morning and just get ready for state.
Ott and the Islanders dominated and brought home only the second golf team title in school history.
And they went out and all 5 of them just played lights out and really ran away with the tournament.
3 days later, Evan started in the state championship baseball game against Kennewick. Mercer Island won 8-4. Evan was the winning pitcher.
I mean, just the one championship is crazy enough for me. I can't imagine how he feels experiencing both in such a short time.
What's even more amazing is Evan's journey. On May 21st, he pitched against Auburn, then had a late golf practice on Mercer Island. On Sunday, he joined his golf teammates and headed to Spokane. 3 days of golf. On Wednesday, he shoots a 73 and his team wins the title. Wednesday night, it's back to Mercer Island. Thursday morning, he takes a test at school, meets his baseball team, and heads to Pasco. Baseball Friday and Saturday. Sunday, he returns home with 2 state championships.
I've never heard of a player, an athlete in any sport, get 2 state championships in a week, or in 4 days for that. I've never heard of it. It's really remarkable.
It was much harder than I expected. And it was also tough to keep up schoolwork as we get towards the end of the year, but I just grinded the past couple weeks and it feels good.
For somebody to go out and in his case, win 2 state championships in 4 days and traveling across the state twice is just an amazing story. It really is.
It was the first time in 3 years where there were state championships for spring sports. That's where we first met 2 sisters from Capitol High who are vaulting up the ranks.
Twin sisters Amanda and Hannah Mull have been competing side by side since they were young.
I like the way she brings out the best in me. We've just always been that close. We've just always liked the same things. She's a great friend and competitor, and all around probably my number one. We push each other, and so like I don't know how good I'd be without her. Probably not as good.
It's on the track where the sisters have found success. Hannah and Amanda are on one of the best 4x100 relay teams in the state. Hannah does hurdles, Amanda does long jump. They're also 2 of the best pole vaulters in the country. In March at the Texas Relays, Amanda set the new outdoor girls pole vault mark at 14.9.5. Hannah is number 3 all time at 14.8.
I love like the technicality, but I also love getting into the air. I mean, basically all the sports I've done requires you to have some elimination of the fear of, heights and stuff. I love getting upside down. It's over quicker than you expect it to, but when on those moments when you actually like pause and you're like, oh wow, I'm like pretty high up, it's cool.
According to the World Athletics Women's Pole Vault rankings, both sisters are in the top 70 in the world, regardless of age. In their under 18 age group, Amanda is ranked number 1, Hannah number 2.
It's just kind of a rare opportunity to get to meet a few athletes that are just like so phenomenally talented, but then also just like some of the best kids that we know on the team.
Long before the twins arrived here at Capitol High, they competed in gymnastics for 8 years, and they both agree that's a big reason why they found success in track and field.
It builds such an incredible foundation, like you're just so strong in like everything. but not just strong, like you're also like really flexible. It gives you a lot of strength, balance.
The 17-year-old twins also compete in rock climbing, strong in sports and in the classroom where they both have 4.0 GPAs. They dream of competing in the Olympics one day, but for now, they'll just keep pushing each other to raise the bar as they reach new heights.
That's always the way we've been, and we've always been pushing each other, and I think that's a big reason why we're so successful right now.
Amanda and Hannah went 1-2 in the 3A state pole vault, and then Amanda brought Capital another state title in the long jump. Her best jump, 17 feet, 8 inches. The sisters say they plan to go to the same college after high school so they can keep competing together. Peninsula High quarterback Peyton Knowles had a senior season to remember. He went over 2,000 all-purpose yards and had over 20 touchdowns. But it's the number on his jersey that inspired him on Friday nights.
Welcome everybody to the 2022 Fishbowl.
It's one of the biggest high school rivalry games in the state. The Fishbowl, Gig Harbor versus Peninsula. This season, Peninsula won, with quarterback Peyton Knowles leading the way.
This is my family. There's no place I'd rather be. It's the best win in the world.
But 2 years ago, Peyton was actually playing for the other team.
Decided to go to Gig Harbor because I thought I was going to have a better chance to start at a young age. I thought I was going to have a better opportunity there.
Aside from football, Peyton is one of the top shortstops on the West Coast. He hit .527 last season and committed to play baseball for Gonzaga.
Baseball's my first love. I've been swinging a bat ever since I could stand and walk. I don't know what it is about it. I just love it.
Peyton started playing for the Gig Harbor Stingrays at the age of 7. It's where he first met Caleb Wanaka.
He was always just big, tall kid, always super talented. Wasn't always like really fast until he got older, but he was a leader and he was passionate and he was fiery.
The two hit it off and played with or against each other for the next 10 years.
He was competitive at everything he did, whether it was in the classroom or on the field.
In high school, the two friends would go their separate ways. Caleb to Peninsula and Peyton to the Tides.
He was not happy. I heard about it every day. Every day. He told me something new. He'd call me a traitor. He'd just sock me in the arm, or he was not happy.
Rivals, but still friends. During the pandemic, they spent a lot of time at Peyton's house, lifting weights and hitting in the cage. On June 28th of 2021, Peyton and Caleb were planning to meet.
We're supposed to come here and lift.
But Caleb went to visit some old friends instead.
Tough for everybody.
Yeah. It was a long night.
That day, a crash on Bliss Cochran Road. The truck they were in left the road and hit a tree. Caleb and 3 others were ejected from the bed of the truck. Caleb died that night of injuries.
It was life-changing. It changed my whole perspective on everything.
And after the memorial service, he came to us and said, I've got to go back to Peninsula. That's where I need to be. Those are the people that know him and love him as much as I do. And for the healing process for both myself and the other kids, he goes, that's just where I need to be. We need to help each other heal.
When he reached out and said that he needed to make a move to be around people that were going through the same process, I totally respected that.
Caleb, a standout in baseball and basketball, was also going to play football his senior year.
This is Caleb Wanaka's Peninsula jersey. Oh yeah, as long as I can remember, he's always been number 9. It's what he wore for baseball, basketball, football.
Number 9, just a number to some, but not to Peyton.
And so I thought that the best way I could honor him is honor him by wearing his number. That's what I did, and we ran with it.
This season, every snap, play, and pass has extra purpose.
There you go, much better on the depth.
Peyton formed a bond playing baseball with Caleb, and his friend is still pushing him to be his best.
He takes Caleb everywhere he goes.
I feel him every time I'm hitting, every time I'm in school, every time I'm on the football field. It's just, at the end of the day, it's doing it all for him.
Peyton says he felt Caleb's presence that night at the Fishbowl.
And then when my buddy passed away, I found a way back, and there's no place I'd rather be.
Caleb meant a lot to the Peninsula community, and they will never forget the legacy of number 9.
I want to make him proud.
A scholarship in Caleb's name has been set up at Peninsula High. If you'd like to donate, you can mail a check to the Peninsula High School Baseball Boosters for the Caleb Wanaka Scholarship Fund. You can also Venmo to @PHSVPO. Still to come, we're staying at Peninsula with a softball hurler who did something that's never even happened in the big leagues. Plus, the Seattle Prep rowers that have become one of the nation's best duos on the water. Stay with us. Felix Hernandez was the last major league pitcher to throw a perfect game in 2012. In May, we made our first trip to Peninsula High to meet a softball player that did something no big leaguer has ever done. Throw not one, but 2 perfect games.
517, 517.
The Peninsula Seahawks finished their regular season on a high note by beating their rivals from Gig Harbor, which also gave them their first league title in a decade.
We've got 14 kids on varsity, and they are just an amazing group. They've bound together.
Against Gig Harbor, junior ace Allie Kimball led the way with 16 strikeouts, but it wasn't her best performance of the season.
It was pure excitement. I was so excited with how the game went.
On April 29th against Central Kitsap, Kimball did not give up a hit, a walk, and she struck out 10. It was her first ever perfect game.
From the first 3 batters, I knew that if I kept my rhythm, that I would be able to throw the perfect game.
It was untouchable. They couldn't touch her, not nothing. Just perfect game. I don't think we got to a 2-ball count.
One perfect game is history, but to throw 2 perfect games, now that would be legendary.
Yeah, seeing some things that I have never seen. It's been really fun.
4 days later, Kimball would strike again. No hits, no walks, 11 strikeouts. Back-to-back perfect games.
It's so cool because it's like the first time I've ever seen someone dominate so much.
In 2 games, Allie faced 30 batters, 30 up, 30 down.
Oh my gosh, it kind of leaves me speechless. Again, such pure excitement.
Then Allie started her next game against North Thurston with a perfect inning. 9 pitches, 9 strikes, 3 outs.
2 perfect games and a perfect inning all together. You're like, come on, when does this happen? You know, so it's been fun.
I've never felt such a good bond with the whole team around me and had so much trust.
While Kimball credits her defense for a pair of perfectos, I asked her teammates if it was fun to watch.
If I'm being honest, it was a little boring in the field. She just kept striking everyone out, so it's kind of just like, you get ready, oh, there's another one, 1 down, there's 2, there's 3, go back in the dugout. Good inning, guys.
What's not boring is the pregame fun they have here at Peninsula. You have to have eye black if you're going to play for the Seahawks. Ladies, can I get my eye black? There you go. Got to be game ready. Not done there. You got to take it up a notch and throw some glitter on as well. I'll take some. Oh, goodness.
I would definitely say I'm superstitious with my eye black and my glitter.
Because I think it's just like a fun thing. It looks cool in pictures.
I think it looks really cool, and Malia introduced me to the glitter.
Don't let all the glitter and glamour fool you. The Seahawks are all business when they're on the field. Allie is committed to play softball for Western Washington University. All right, let's finish with one more for the girls. Seattle Prep only started its rowing program 6 years ago, but they already have one of the best prep crew teams in the nation. In September, we introduce you to 2 Panthers who recently made school history.
How's everyone doing? I'm not used to having you guys here in the Wednesday morning.
You wake up, it's still dark outside. Go out to the dock at first, it's still dark outside. Why? Start that warm up.
Oh, 10 seconds.
I'm already tired.
I just like how you can come to the boathouse and be on the water and not worry about anything else.
Go ahead and just roll it down, rest it, bow in. And there's nothing quite like the feeling that you get within a boat.
Just go this way.
The sport of rowing takes strength.
Go straight across.
Discipline.
Our workout this morning is going to be minute on, minute off.
Endurance.
Keep your hands up coming into the catch.
And balance.
If you're balanced, it kind of cuts down the resistance on the water. So it makes the boat go faster.
A successful rowing team poles in perfect balance with perfect timing.
the more we row together, the more we get a sense of how the other one rows. We row so much better together, and that balance really allows you to row cleaner through the water.
Let's get those blades right in the water, nice quick hands.
Seattle Prep juniors Claire Ruliak and Natalia Pang have formed a bond through balance. They compete in the women's double scull.
The double really comes down to partnership. You can have two really strong athletes in the double together, but if they're not connecting on a deeper level, the boat's not really going to go anywhere.
When we have that mental connection, it makes it so much easier to then match up our strokes, which is obviously very important, especially in a double, and start to really put the work in to get faster and stronger so we can move a boat.
In 2 short years, they've become one of the top U17 women's double scull teams in the country. Last season, Natalia and Claire won a regional title, and then they took 3rd at the national championships. It was the first women's medal ever won at nationals for Seattle Prep.
There was that moment of relief that it was that kind of we did it moment. Once we crossed the finish line, we were kind of I guess we were kind of in shock for a while.
Go ahead, turn, take it across.
Their hard work paid off. At Prep, they practice twice a day. But Natalia and Claire are not only balanced in the boat, but they're also balanced in life. Natalia has a 3.94 GPA, Claire a 4.0. Claire is managing editor of the school newspaper and works with the Global Justice Coalition.
We really work to educate our school, make our school more climate friendly, and also things like beach cleanups and other things in our community.
Natalia also loves to give back.
I've been volunteering with Special Olympics for about 5 years now, which it's definitely my favorite organization to volunteer with.
Direct to the water here on that catch.
They're only 16, but they've already learned that balance will keep them afloat as they row after their dreams.
So we maintain the acceleration through the finish.
Seattle Prep won the regional championship last season. This year, they have 58 kids on the team. And that will do it for another year of Prep Zones. Those are just some of the special kids and coaches who compete all year long. I'm Chris Egan. Have a safe and happy holiday season.